You look at the remaining free agents when it comes to the running back position, and it's kind of slim picking.
Part of the element that makes it so fun is you're hoping he's still going to be there as Skoronski goes off the board, and there he is, man.
Once he gets going in a straight line, he's a hard man to get down on the ground. Still on his feet. 20, 10, 5, touchdown.
What's good, football fanatics? Before we dive into today's heated debate, let me ask you something. When was the last time you saw a running back get drafted in the first round and people didn't immediately roast the GM for living in the past? Yeah, exactly. But hold up, because 2024 just threw the biggest curveball at the running backs are dead crowd. And honestly, some of y'all look pretty silly right now. Today we're settling this once and for all. Are running backs still valuable in today's NFL, or are they just expensive nostalgia? Because trust me, after what we witnessed this past season, this conversation just got a lot more complicated. But first, smash that like button if you think you know where this debate is heading. Spoiler alert, you probably don't. Look, let's be real here. The running back haters had some solid ammunition for years. And honestly, they weren't completely wrong. The numbers don't lie, people. The NFL has been transforming into a passing paradise faster than your fantasy team can disappoint you. Teams are slinging the rock more than ever, and rushing attempts have been dropping like my will to live every Sunday at 1 p.m. We're talking about a league where some teams would rather throw on 3rd and 1 than hand the ball off, and somehow it works. Here's the brutal truth. Running backs became the most replaceable position in football. Why? Because they're more dependent on their supporting cast than a Marvel movie depends on CGI. Your offensive line sucks. Your running back looks like he's running through quicksand. Your scheme is trash. Even prime Adrian Peterson would look ordinary. And let's talk money, because that's what really triggered this whole debate. Teams were paying running backs like franchise quarterbacks, then watching them get hurt, decline, or just disappear into mediocrity. Meanwhile, some random 7th rounder would come in and put up similar numbers for peanuts. Talk about brutal market efficiency. The analytics crowd was having a field day with this. They'd pull out their expected points added charts and show you how a decent offensive line and a smart scheme could make any running back look decent. Why pay Ezekiel Elliott $15 million when you could pay some practice squad hero $850,000 and get 80% of the production? Plus, and this one stings, running backs age like milk in the Florida sun. By 28, most of them are already on the decline. Compare that to quarterbacks who can play until they are practically collecting Social Security, and it's not even close. You're investing huge money in a position with the shortest shelf life in professional sports. Now here's where things get spicy, because 2024 just made a lot of people eat their words. And some of those words probably tasted pretty bitter. Remember when everyone was clowning teams for even thinking about investing in the running backs? Well, 3 guys just walked into new cities and said, "Hold my Gatorade." Saquon Barkley, Derrick Henry, and Josh Jacobs didn't just change teams. They changed the entire conversation. Let's talk numbers, because I love watching people's jaws drop. According to Sumer Sports, the addition of Derrick Henry helped the Ravens' expected points added (EPA) per rush jump from 0.01 to 0.09. Saquon Barkley's arrival in Philadelphia increased the Eagles' EPA per rush from 0.02 to 0.09. Meanwhile, Josh Jacobs helped improve the Packers' EPA per rush from 0.07 to 0.01. Wait. You mean to tell me that adding elite running backs to already good teams made them better? But here's the kicker, and this is where it gets really interesting. In the 2024-25 season, Saquon Barkley has rushed for the most yards by a running back with 2,005 yards. That's not just good, that's historically great. We're talking about a guy who went from a declining asset on the Giants to breaking 2,000 yards in Philadelphia. The Ravens, they went from a good team to looking absolutely unstoppable in the playoffs, with Henry bulldozing through defenses like they were made of tissue paper. The Packers took their young quarterback, Jordan Love, and gave him the perfect safety blanket in Josh Jacobs. Suddenly, all those running backs don't matter takes started aging like fine milk. But hold your horses before you start calling your GM demanding they trade 3 first-rounders for the next Saquon Barkley. Because here's what really happened in 24 and why both sides of this debate are partially right and partially living in fantasy land. The secret sauce wasn't just the running backs. It was putting elite backs in elite situations. The Eagles already had a great offensive line and a scheme that could make a traffic cone look decent. Same with the Ravens and Packers. These weren't desperate teams throwing money at running backs hoping for miracles. These were smart organizations adding the final piece to an already solid puzzle. Want proof? Let's talk about DeAndre Swift and the Chicago Bears. While Swift played a key role in the Eagles' rushing success in 2023, where they posted an EPA per rush of 0.02, his arrival in Chicago coincided with a steep decline in team rushing efficiency, dropping to 6. Swift's personal EPA per rush plummeted from 0.01 with the Eagles to 0.15 with the Bears. Same player, different situation, completely different results. It's like watching a Formula One driver try to race in a Honda Civic. The talent is there, but the infrastructure isn't. This is why the 49ers' Christian McCaffrey trade in 2022 was genius. They didn't need McCaffrey to fix their running game. They already had a great scheme in line. They needed him to take it from great to absolutely devastating, and boy did he deliver. The lesson here, running backs aren't dead, but they're not the foundation of your offense either. They're the cherry on top of an already great sundae. Build your line, perfect your scheme, then add the elite back. Do it backwards, and you get the Bears. Now here's where things get really interesting, because the 2025 NFL Draft just proved that everything changed overnight. Remember when I said we might see running backs go earlier than expected? Well, hold on to your fantasy rosters because it actually happened. 2 highly touted running backs were taken in the first round of the 2025 NFL Draft, Ashton Jeanty and Omarion Hampton. And just like that, the never draft a running back in the first round crowd got served a reality check on live television. Jeanty didn't just sneak into the first round. This man had teams fighting over him like he was the last slice of pizza at a Super Bowl party. Hampton was viewed as a pretty clear first-round pick, with the biggest question being how high he would end up going in the NFL Draft as the number 2 back in the class behind Jeanty. But here's the kicker. This wasn't just teams reaching for need. There aren't a lot of weaknesses to Hampton's game. He's a big, fast, and capable receiver with a strong production history. These weren't desperate franchises making emotional picks. These were calculated investments based on what we witnessed in 2024. Think about the butterfly effect here. The Raiders grabbed Jeanty and immediately made him their feature back. The Chargers snagged Hampton at 22nd overall. Teams that watched Saquon, Henry, and Jacobs dominate last season said, "We want that energy," and backed it up with first-round capital. And honestly, the free agency market tells the same story. Aaron Jones made the most of his 1-year deal with the Vikings. The consistent veteran has never recorded a PFF rushing grade below 6.5 in a season, and teams are lining up for his services. Even Nick Chubb is among the more intriguing players still available in free agency despite coming off injury concern. We went from running backs don't matter to teams investing premium draft capital and throwing real money at proven veterans. That's not just a market correction. That's a complete philosophical revolution. So where does this leave us? Are running backs valuable or not? Here's the truth that 2024 proved and 2025 just confirmed. Running backs are absolutely valuable, but only if you're smart about how you use them. The days of building your entire offense around a single back are gone. But guess what? The days of completely ignoring the position are officially dead and buried too. The modern NFL running back is like adding premium gas to a Ferrari. If you've got the right engine, it'll take you places. But if you're driving a beat-up Honda Civic, you're just wasting money. The teams that succeeded understood this. They built their offensive lines, perfected their schemes, developed their quarterbacks, then added elite running backs to take everything to the next level. The draft results prove it. 2 highly touted running backs were taken in the first round of the 2025 NFL Draft: Ashton Jonty and Omarion Hampton. Not because teams were desperate, but because they had the infrastructure to maximize that investment. The running back position didn't just survive, it evolved and came back stronger. But here's what I'm really watching heading into the 2025-26 season. We're about to see the real test of this running back renaissance. Every team just watched the draft unfold and saw franchises willing to spend first-round picks on backs again. How many front offices are sitting in meetings right now, panic shopping for their missing piece? And here's the scary part. What happens when teams that don't have the infrastructure try to copy this formula? We might see some spectacular failures that remind everyone why context is everything. Nick Chubb posted just 3.3 yards per carry in limited action, and Aaron Jones has never recorded a PFF rushing grade below 76.5 in a season. But even elite backs need the right situation. The 2025-26 season isn't just going to show us whether this running back revival is real. It's going to separate the smart organizations from the ones that learned nothing from the past decade. Some teams are about to look like absolute geniuses for investing early. Others, they're about to learn some very expensive lessons about the difference between having a plan and just copying what works somewhere else. With rookies like Janty and Hampton getting immediate opportunities and veterans still commanding respect in free agency, this season will define whether we're witnessing a permanent shift or just a temporary market correction. If you're still not convinced that context matters more than talent, just wait until we see which teams maximize their investments and which ones are left wondering why their expensive new toy isn't working. So, what do you think? Are we witnessing the permanent rebirth of the running back era, or will some teams crash and burn trying to copy last year's success without the foundation to support it? Drop your boldest predictions in the comments below. Smash that like button if this whole debate got your football brain spinning. And don't forget to subscribe, because trust me, the 2025 season is about to give us plenty more content to argue about. Until next time, keep questioning everything you think you know about football, because as we just learned, the game never stops evolving.